Tips for nearshore fishing during high water. Fish hotspots right at your feet. Hey there, fishing fanatics! Happy new day, and welcome back to Fishing 24 Hours, your ultimate channel for killer fishing tips, tricks, and stories that make every trip legendary. Picture this: the river's swelling, water's sparkling in the sunlight, and right by the bank, you spot dark fish shadows gliding through the clear water. Sounds like a gold mine, right? But here's the thing: most anglers are busy casting way out to the middle, missing the fish jackpot just steps from their feet. Today we're spilling the secrets of nearshore fishing during high water, where big fish gather right at the water's edge. Let me share a story from a couple of years back that'll set the scene. It was a chilly December morning in Louisiana, with the bayou rising fast after heavy rains. I grabbed my rod and headed to a familiar spot on the Atchafalaya River with my old pal, Ray. Normally, this stretch calls for casting 50 to 65 feet out to hit big fish. But Ray got there, took one look and said, "Water's up, man. Don't tire yourself casting far. The fish are right by the bank feasting. Just drop your bait close." I was skeptical big fish hanging out that close. But I humored him and cast my bait barely 6 feet from the shore. Seconds later, my float started dancing. One quick hook set, and bam, a 2-pound crappie. I looked at Ray, who just grinned and said, "Told ya. Fish follow the rising water to eat near the grass and tree root stuff they can resist." In just over an hour, we hauled in over 20 pounds of fish crappie channel catfish. Even a solid basail without breaking a sweat casting far. That day changed how I fish high water for good. In this video, we'll dive into why fish swarm the shore during high water, how to spot food-rich hotspots, pick the best times, choose killer baits, cast gently to avoid spooking fish, and stay safe. We've got 2 real-life stories from the US to get you fired up, plus practical tips, beginner advice, and safety notes to make you a nearshore pro. These tricks work in rivers, lakes, or ponds across America, for fish like largemouth bass, catfish, or crappie. So, grab a cold soda, kick back, and let's turn those high-water banks into your fish buffet. Why do fish hug the shore when water levels rise? 3 main reasons. First, high water brings a feast. Bugs, worms, crawfish, and minnows get washed from the bank, fields, or grass, creating a buffet right at the water's edge. Second, rising water gets murkier, making fish less cautious and bold enough to cruise close to shore for food. Third, shaded spots, tree roots, or grassy patches near the bank are perfect hideouts where fish can ambush prey or chill safely. These nearshore zones are fish magnets during high water, and savvy anglers can score big. Most folks miss this, casting far out to deep water, thinking that's where the big ones hide. But when water's high, the real action's often just a few feet from your boots. The key is picking the right spot, using the right bait, and fishing without startling the fish. With the right approach, you'll turn nearshore areas into a fish factory, where big catches are practically begging to be hooked. Let's break down how to master this high water technique step by step. Start by picking prime nearshore spots. Look for flooded grass, tree roots along the bank, or river bends with gentle flow. These areas, usually 1.5 to 6 feet deep, are where fish gather during high water. Also, scout for natural obstacles like rocks, stumps, or old pilingsies. Our fish hideouts. Watch for signs of activity, bubbles popping up, small ripples, or fish shadows moving near the bank. If you see leaves or bugs caught in grass, that's where food's piling up, drawing fish like bass or catfish. When you hit a river, lake, or pond, take a few minutes to walk the bank and scan. In places like Arkansas's White River, flooded grass or cypress roots near the shore are hotspots for crappie and catfish during high water. After heavy rain, target nearshore spots where water's slightly murky from runoff, as it carries food that pulls fish in. Use a long stick to probe depth. If you feel grass, roots, or a soft bottom, you found a prime spot. Sharp observation will lead you to fish magnets most anglers overlook. A pro tip for spotting hotspots is checking water movement. During high water, look for gentle swirls or areas where debris collects. These are often where food and fish gather. Early mornings or late afternoons, when fish are active, you might see shadows or ripples near the bank. Patience in scouting will put you right where big fish are feasting, The best times to fish near shore during high water are right when the water starts rising, especially early morning from 4:30 to 7 a.m., or late afternoon from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. Fish are boldest then, cruising close to feed. Avoid times when the current is too strong. Fish struggle to stay near the bank and may retreat deeper. Cloudy days or post-rain periods are gold. As murkier water makes fish less wary, get there early to cast as fish move in, and skip flashlights at dusk to keep them calm. For bait, match what fish are eating near the shore. For crappie and carp, use night crawlers, dough bait mixed with fishy stink like tuna oil, or overripe banana chunks. These have strong scents that spread fast. For catfish, go with live minnows, crawfish, or smelly cut bait like chicken liver. Hook your bait securely, but keep it compact to handle grass or roots. Use a light sinker, about 1/16 to 1/8 ounce, to let your bait sit naturally near the bank, looking like food washed in by the flood. A trick to boost success is chumming lightly first. Toss a few bits of worm, crawfish, or dough bait near the bank. Wait 10 to 15 minutes for the scent to draw fish, then cast your hooked bait there. This creates a feeding frenzy, making fish eager to bite. In high water, compact natural baits are your ticket to hitting the fish jackpot right at the shore. Casting technique is critical to avoid spooking fish. Drop your bait gently, no more than 3 to 6 feet from the bank, to avoid splashing. Use a 6 to 10 foot ultralight rod or cheap spinning setup with a soft tip for precise casts. A 4 to 8 pound test line is thin enough to be invisible, but strong enough for big fish. Use a sensitive float, like a feather float or a lead bobber for evening fishing, to catch light bites. Set your float so the bait hovers just above the bottom, about 8 to 20 inches deep in the strike zone. Keep your line just taut enough to feel bites, but loose enough to look natural. Watch your float closely. If it twitches, wait. When it dips sharply or pulls steadily, set the hook lightly to avoid snapping the line. In gentle currents, cast slightly upstream so the flow carries your bait naturally to fish. This makes your bait look like food drifting in, triggering strikes. Here's another real-life story to show it works. I was fishing a small creek in Arkansas during a high water spell after a big rain. Standing just 3 feet from the bank, I saw schools of crappie and small bass cruising under flooded grass. I used bloodworms, dropped my bait in less than 10 seconds, and hooked 3 fish, back-to-back to crappie and a bass, all over a pound. Meanwhile, a group of anglers 50 yards away kept casting far out and sat there yawning. They saw me pulling fish and came over to ask my secret. Just grinned and said, "The fish buffet's right at your feet. You just gotta look." Safety's a big deal when fishing near shore during high water. Avoid soft, muddy banks that can collapse under your weight. Watch out for snakes or critters hiding in brush near the water's edge. If you're fishing in deeper spots or fast-moving water, wear a life jacket to stay safe. A little caution keeps your trip fun and worry-free. To fish near shore like a pro, prep smart. Scout banks for flooded grass, tree roots, or obstacles. Pack baits like worms, crawfish, or dough bait, kept fresh in a cooler. Use a sensitive rod, light line, and thin float, checking your line for wear. Cast near cover, stay quiet, and wait for bites. If no action in 15 minutes, chum again or try another spot. Just for conditions. After heavy rain, fish closer to grass. In strong flows, use a slightly heavier sinker, but keep it natural. New to fishing? Nearshore high water is a great place to learn. Try a creek's grassy edge, using a cheap rod, feather float, and worms. Log where bites come like crappie near roots. Don't stress if bait snags. Adjust your cast. This builds observation and timing, setting you up for big catches. To level up, practice casting close and watching your float. Spend trips targeting nearshore spots during high water, timing light hook sets. For homemade baits, ensure a strong smell like tuna oil or shrimp paste. In busy spots, pick a quiet corner to keep fish calm. These details turn the shoreline into your trophy zone. Nearshore fishing during high water is a simple but deadly technique. You don't need to cast far or burn energy. Just drop your bait where the fish are already feasting. It's like finding a buffet right at your feet. Whether you're a rookie or a veteran, these tricks will make you a high water master. Hit the bank and watch your catches pile up. That's it, folks. We've covered nearshore fishing during high water, why fish swarm the bank, spotting hot spots, picking times, choosing baits, casting gently, and staying safe. I hope you're pumped to try this out. Smash that like, share with your fishing crew, and subscribe to Fishing 24 Hours for more killer tips. Got a high water story from America's rivers or lakes? Drop it in the comments, I'm all ears. Tight lines and big catch, see you next time.